In this chapter, I'm going to explain you how we can deploy Redis on Kubernetes. So first of all, why do we need that? It is very convenient that you can deploy Redis on Kubernetes, because this way you can adjust anything that you need to adjust on your Redis, starting from Redis configuration, from resource requests, because whenever you're running some caching Redis instance, you want to keep memory higher, CPU a bit lower. However, whenever you're running your Redis instance for queuing purpose, such as Laravel Horizon or other applications, you want to add more CPU, and Kubernetes gives you that access. They allow you to change the resource requests for your Redis instance. And there's so many more things that you can deploy in Kubernetes. However, let me show you how we can deploy the Redis in a couple of minutes. So first of all, let's create a repository in your GitHub. Now, when that's done, let's make a new project. Open your folder. Let's make a new folder. We will call it Redis. And now let's open it in a PHP store. All right. So now let me open it. Alright, so this is open. So first of all, we will start with the configuration file because that's the most essential thing that Redis requires. So right now I'm just gonna create it and I'm gonna paste in all the configuration information. However, in your case, you can either use your own or just take the one I have attached under the video. So here's the file. It has around 2,000 lines, so we're not going to type it here, and there's really no need to type it. Now let's add git ignore, because that's something you will always want to use. Git ignore, that's how we call it. Those are basics. So we want to ignore IDE. And now let's just open your backend project or frontend project, and let's just paste in the cloud build YAML file. All right. So just open your backend project. As you see, it's indexing. So now we just want to grab this file, cloud build production.yaml. We want to paste it in here. All right, and we want to go to the bottom, and where you see deployment, let's just change it to Redis. And now we want to create our Dockerfile. So let's just press new file, Dockerfile. In our case, we will add production. And just in case, if you don't see the highlights, you can just press here and their option override file type, and you can select the Dockerfile right here. Okay, just in case if it's not popping up for you. So now here, the way we will start our Dockerfile, we will say from Redis. And why are we doing that? It's actually lowercase. It's because we are extending the image that Redis has provided us with. So let's go to Google, let's say Redis Docker, and here we can see their official image. And let's look out for latest flag. As you see, it's 626. That's their latest version. And let's scroll down, and they're explaining how you can run it, because there are many ways you can do it. And in our case, let's just copy this part. All right? So let's just paste it in. Let's add some space so it's more readable. And in our case, Redis configuration is located in this folder. So we're gonna do it this way, and also we will expose the ports. Expose 6379, and very important that 6379 is exposed as a port in your configuration file as well. Alright, so this is done. Our application, our Redis application is done. So now let's go ahead and create a new Redis workload. So let's go to our Kubernetes and let's press deploy. As always, just ignore that part and let's say Redis here for some reason. Okay, so now let's press deploy right here. Okay, so this is done. So now we want to set up a new trigger. Let's go to cloud build triggers and let's create a new trigger. Create trigger. I'm gonna call it Redis trigger. And let's select the repository. I'm gonna say connect new repository. So in my case, I have selected the Redis repository. I'm gonna hit I understand and connect them. So now it popped up here. I'm gonna select it. We will use master branch as always. And you wanna select cloud build production file and cloud build configuration file. And here we're just gonna rename it to cloud build production. And now let's hit create right here. So our trigger is created. So now it should be working as soon as we deploy our code. So now let's follow this guide and let's deploy our Redis configuration files to GitHub. Okay, so git init, git add. Let's do that. Okay, so let's open the terminal and we will do the following. Git init, git add, okay, just remove this full screen. So now we will make a commit and then we will make a branch. And now let's push all the code to the master branch. Here you go, everything was pushed. As soon as we see it here, everything looks alright here. Let's go to our cloud build. And you will see that the new cloud build is running. So now we will give it a couple of minutes to deploy, then we will adjust the image, and then we will test it. So now let's take a look. There was some issue with this build, and let's examine what happened. Okay, so it's saying there was no Dockerfile because in this case our cloud build production is expecting a regular Dockerfile. So let's just refactor. I remove the name and I'm gonna push it right now. Fix the name of Dockerfile. Here you go. Now it's gonna build. So now our build is running. Let's open it. So as you see here, in the first step, it's extending the Redis image. It's installing our configuration file, and now it's just deploying the image right here. So now let's go to this Redis instance right here. And now we want to remove the nginx from here. So scroll down where you see this nginx latest. So let's just remove this part right here. And we will give this Redis instance, let's say 1 GB of CPU and 3 and 4 GB of memory. Okay, we will save it. Now we will ensure that we have only one Redis instance running at a time. If you want to run more instances, you want to make some proxies for caching, clusters, and so on, you can definitely do it. And something I suggest checking out is Twem proxy. It's also built on the Docker and it's built by Twitter. It's a really, really cool thing, and that's something you could install on the Kubernetes as well. However, it depends on the application. If your application is on an enterprise grade scale and it has a huge amount of traffic, you definitely need it. However, if it's a smaller application and you just need one or a couple of Redis instances, it's fine to do it the following way. So now let's expose our Redis. The way we're gonna do it, I'm sure you have noticed that we did not provide any password. It's really because we don't want anybody to access Redis instance from outside. It will be accessed only on a private IP. So let's expose it. Let's press expose. Let's put the right IP here. It's gonna be 6379, target port the same 6379, and here we are not gonna put load balancer. We will use cluster IP. So let's press expose. And as you see, the cluster IP was given to you very quickly. So now let's just copy it and keep it in mind. So our Redis instance is running, everything is successfully here. And now you want to connect it. So how do we do it? So let me show you. So we will want to connect to this Redis instance using telnet, and we can do the following. You can either go to backend or frontend project that you have, go to the Dockerfile. Let's open it here, and let's just add one more package right here, and it will be called busybox extras, because this is the only way to install this command telnet on all Pine Linux. Okay, so let's just push it, add busybox extras. And just to be consistent, we can push the same thing to staging. Okay, and let's go back to master. Okay, so keep in mind this IP address, because we will be connecting to this private IP. So now let's go to cloud build. Let's see if everything is running. Alright, so now we are waiting for these two instances to start running. So now our triggers are running. Let's see if they are done yet. Okay, they're almost done. So let's give it one more minute and we will be connecting to one of them. We will actually connect to the master instance. So give it one more minute for a new image to be deployed. Let's take a look. Alright, so the new instance was deployed. Let's just copy this pod. Let's open our terminal. Okay, so let's access it now. kubectl xsets. And now we should, as you see here, now we can use this command telnet. So now let's go to our Redis instance. And now let's just copy the IP address right here. Alright, so we will say telnet IP address 6379. Perfect, so now you have connected to this instance. And now you can say set my key hello. And you're getting acknowledgement from Redis that it went through. And you can say get my key. Here you go, we got hello. So a Redis instance is working. It's deployed on a private IP, so it's very secure and fast because the traffic is routed directly from your instance that's located on the same cluster to your Redis instance. So the delay is so small and it's very efficient. Alright, thank you for watching how to deploy Redis on a Kubernetes. I hope you found it very useful.